Quick backstory. After graduating high school, my son moved 3 states away for college. At 19, he married a girl he met. I tried convincing him to wait because I personally felt he was too immature. They both dropped out and moved back to his hometown. At 20, they had their first child, a beautiful little girl. 16 months later, my daughter-in-law gave birth to their second child, a little boy. After the first baby, my wife and I noticed our daughter-in-law wasn't happy. We both thought it was PPD related. Just after the second arrived, my son and his wife separated. She'd bring the kids over for a visit, and it was then she began unloading on us. I know there are 2 sides to every story, but I believed her because I know my son. I sat my son down numerous times to speak with him regarding his marriage. He refused to take responsibility and blamed her for everything, even when I directly pointed out that he was the sole problem. They got into counseling, and for a year, things were okay on the surface. Then our daughter-in-law filed for divorce, and my son, 3 days later, was on Facebook announcing his new girlfriend. A month later, they were engaged. My son had forced his then-wife to become a permanent stay-at-home mom at the birth of their first child. She, of course, had no other family or friends here. She knew no one aside from us. She had nowhere to go with 2 small children. Unbeknownst to our son, my wife and I helped her out financially and got her an apartment. Before the divorce was even finalized, we received a wedding invitation. I made it clear to my son that I would not be attending and that they would not have my blessing. His mother told him she would see to it that I would attend. I stayed consistent in my decision. I also asked him not to bring his fiancée around our house out of respect for the mother of his children. The wedding happened on February 11th. The night before, my wife gave me the final push. I did not attend. Our daughter also didn't attend for the same reasons. My wife picked up our grandkids, dressed them, and attended the wedding. My daughter and I decided to spend the evening with his ex. I couldn't imagine her sitting alone while her kids attended their father's wedding. She was taken aback that I didn't end up attending his wedding. We took her out to distract her mind. I just wanted her to know she'll always be considered family to us. My daughter also made a joke that they can drop the in-law status and just be sisters now. She was very tearfully grateful. I realized just how badly she needed our support, specifically that night. The next morning, my son called to tell me how much of a horrible father I was for not attending his wedding. A few days later, he caught wind that I spent the wedding evening with his ex. He said that that was the ultimate form of betrayal, and further that myself and his sister would have to earn a relationship with him on his terms only. Not the idiot. This is funny. You have to earn a relationship with him on his terms? He needs to check his offering. He's way overvaluing what he brings to the table. You're a reasonable parent who acknowledges when your kid is being an idiot. I don't see anything wrong with you choosing to support the mother of your grandchildren, who he seems to have left in a bad spot. Honestly, though, why would anyone care to earn a relationship with someone who puts no value on the relationships he already has? He didn't care when OP said from the get-go that he wouldn't attend just because he assumed he'd get his way in the end. The only relationship this guy values is with that guy in the mirror. I was also getting strong Greek dude who loved himself too much vibes from this. I think he was cheating with a new girlfriend. You don't get married 3 weeks after meeting someone. He's either narcissistic or even potentially abusive, unfortunately. I feel bad for his ex-wife and for the new one too. I think it's good that he sees boundaries set by OP and his sister because he sounds like he needs more experience being told no or that he's wrong. Too many parents don't hold their children accountable, and I'm glad this father does. I agree. Surely he had to be cheating. His wife filed for divorce, and a month later, he was engaged to somebody else. On the other hand, his relationship with wife number 1 also moved lightning fast. Married at 19 to a girl he hadn't met before college, had 2 babies born only 16 months apart, and separated immediately after baby number 2. He's only 22, 23, with 2 kids and on his second marriage? That's a reality TV level of bad decision-making. I'm getting married in a few months. My sister and I have never gotten along, but I found out from my mom it was important to her to be in my bridal party. She never mentioned being my maid of honor or bridesmaid before, but she expected to be my maid of honor despite us not being friends and her not playing any role in my relationship with my fiancé. I instead asked one of my best friends, who's been close with us as a couple for a very long time. When I asked my sister to be a bridesmaid, she hung up on me, and I had to apologize for not asking her to be my maid of honor, as she isn't going to apologize for having feelings. I've let this go, and she agreed to be a bridesmaid. I called her yesterday, and she found every reason she could bring up that I'm making her and my family mad. This included a convo I had with my mom when I said I wanted all the bridesmaids' hair to look somewhat consistent, just the same style adjusted for different lengths, so they all look cohesive. Mom was mad that I wasn't going to ask my bridal party, but instead tell them what I wanted. All my friends know that I'm easygoing and open to compromise, but she refused to see my perspective, focused on saying my attitude was out of check. I told her I'd figure out an alternative that worked for everyone if there were issues. She kept going back to saying that I was wrong. I told my sister calmly that if she felt that strongly about this, that it was her choice not to participate, and it would make me upset, but she could if she wanted to. I just need to know to make other plans and to take time to think about it. She agreed to think about it and get back to me. Am I the idiot for picking how the bridal party hair looks for my wedding and for fighting for what's important to me? Not the idiot. Kick your sister out of the wedding party now, or she'll find a way to ruin your wedding. Dictating the hairstyle within reason is perfectly normal. You're not telling them what color or cut their hair has to be, just a style within the confines of the hair they already have. Your sister and mom are trying to make your wedding all about your sister. If you choose to still invite them to the wedding, have a friend on misbehavior patrol to get them out as soon as they start crap to minimize the damage. I will say, however, that you do seem stuck in people-pleaser mode. It isn't as if you're asking your sister to shave her head or dye her hair orange. It's common to ask for a certain look for hair and makeup. If your sister doesn't like it, she can choose not to be a participant in the wedding, and your mother should stay out of this unless she wants to get caught in the crossfire. Does your mom always side with your sister? It's giving golden child and scapegoat vibes. It's your wedding. Do what you and your fiancé want. She's turning this into her day and using your mother to bully you into her choices. Screw this crap. Everyone's the idiot here. You're not easygoing if you treat your bridesmaids like dollies that you get to dress up the way you want. Easygoing would be letting them have hairstyles and makeup that they're comfortable with. These people are not models in your runway show. You and your sister are alike in this battle. Both of you are inflexible in your demands. Agree to disagree is the solution, and the sooner you realize that, the better you'll both be. I feel like this is entirely ridiculous. I live with my roommate, Matt. We used to be pretty close friends, but over the last 2 years of living with him, we've drifted apart, and I'm just waiting for our lease to move out on my own. Matt's girlfriend, Sarah, pretty much lives with us, despite not paying rent. I won't lie, she annoys me to no end. She's an entitled airhead who thinks the world revolves around her. Sarah has a condition where she gets nauseous at the slightest smell and sight of certain foods. She's an incredibly picky eater, and anything outside of corn dogs or chicken tenders makes her nauseous, according to her. Well, unfortunately for her, I like to cook. I love heavily spiced foods and love to cook Asian-style dishes, so living with a toddler who can't stand the smell really sucks. Sarah has always complained about me cooking smelly foods and has asked me to stop or do it when she's not home. I haven't accommodated her since she doesn't pay rent and spends 18 hours a day at my home. Last night, Sarah and Matt set me down and told me I needed to stop cooking because Sarah couldn't stand it anymore. Apparently, she had a mental breakdown last week when I was cooking curry. She claims I'm making our apartment a hostile environment by ignoring her concerns. I told both of them to screw off until Sarah started paying her share of the rent. Matt said that because he lives here, His opinion also matters, and he wants me to stop. I also told him no to that because he's only doing this because Sarah's a baby. We ended up having a massive argument, and neither of them are talking to me now. Both are staying at Sarah's mom's house right now, and I say good riddance. At least I did until I told the story to my coworkers, and they were all shocked. They say I'm a complete idiot. This has given me second thoughts on if I was the idiot in the fight we had. Not the idiot. I told them both to screw off until Sarah starts paying her share of the rent. Wow, she's not paying rent but making demands? This is the appropriate response. They can find things to do outside of the house if she doesn't live there. Have you talked to your landlord about the extra tenant? Did you get a choice when she moved in? Or was it like, I guess she's staying here from now on, without a word? How could you possibly be the idiot? Your coworkers are idiots. Your roommate and his girlfriend are definitely idiots. How the heck is someone going to ask you not to cook in your own home? If someone asked me that, I'd tell them to screw off the same way you did, especially considering one of those people isn't even a paying tenant. It sounds like he moved her in, and they're trying to force you out before your agreement is done so they can have the place to themselves. OP, I'd double down on the petty and cook the trigger foods every day until she pays rent or leaves for good. What an insufferable couple to have to live with. OP, up your game and look up how to ferment kimchi and crack open a durian for dessert. Boil cabbage and sauerkraut and Brussels sprouts all day, just for fun. Sarah can screw right off. The nerve of someone who's a guest. I can't even imagine. I know this sounds super petty, but this is the most ridiculous fight I've had with my boyfriend, and unfortunately, it's where we're at. I, female 28, have never shaved in my life. It's up to the person, but I've also never really had a lot of hair. My boyfriend recently stayed over and asked to borrow a razor. Since I don't shave, I didn't have one on hand, which apparently grossed him out. He told me that it was unhygienic not to shave, and we argued back and forth about the issue when I finally told him that I'd only start shaving my legs if he shaved his first. He called me immature and petty, whereas I think he's super fixated on this weird thing. It honestly wouldn't bother me to shave, but I'm more irked at his statements where he basically called me dirty. I was serious though. I'll shave whenever he shaves too. We're in an impasse, but I'd like to know if I'm being too petty about the whole thing. You are the petty the world needs, so you don't shave your legs, and he just noticed? My, he's observant. You're not the idiot. This is exactly where my thoughts went. Actually, he didn't notice that OP didn't shave her legs. He only found out when he was told. I mean, realistically, if a girlfriend told me she didn't shave her legs and I hadn't noticed, I probably would have assumed they waxed themselves or went to a beauty salon to get them done. I wouldn't have immediately gone to, ooh, gross, you don't shave. Why is it not unhygienic for him to have leg hair? What is specifically dirtier about women's hair? I'm trying to find the logic where an evolutionary trait designed to help retain body heat and survive is unhygienic, especially when males and females have the same body hair. That would be like saying, this female Pomeranian has evolved and been bred to have this beautiful coat that also keeps it warm, but it's a female, so time to shave it. Me too. The bizarre distinction between male and female hair is so weird. I'd also like to know how borrowing your razor wasn't gross, but you not owning one was. He's spouting misogynistic crap and doubling down with his lies and insults about your hygiene. Not the idiot, but you have terrible taste in men. And honey, I promise, this is just the tip of his misogynistic iceberg. So get the heck out of there. I'm at a complete loss right now. Somebody tell me this is crazy. My husband, 28, has always been a specific person. He sets things a certain way and does things a certain way. It's just all really planned out. It rarely's caused issues. I even found it kind of cute. But we've hit a point of contention with our kitchen. He likes certain things to be in particular cupboards, which is fine, whatever. Everyone has preferences, but he's so absurd about it. After I'm done with the dishes, he'll come behind me and move everything from where I put it. Sometimes he'll take several hours to pull everything out, just to put it back somewhere else. At this point, I feel like he's doing it just to make me angry. Yesterday, I came home from work to the kitchen torn apart for the 5th time this week. I don't know what came over me, but I was done. I took everything and just threw them in random cupboards. I threw half of it away. I demanded he tells me what the deal is. He completely freaked out. He burst into tears, could not even talk to me like an adult, and practically acted like I'd started the house on fire. I said he was being pathetic, and we argued until he got his things and went to stay in a hotel in town. The entire situation is ridiculous. He's more concerned about the dishes than our marriage. Is he doing this on purpose? I just don't get it. Now he won't answer my calls. Maybe I was too harsh, but it's my house too. I just don't get why he won't just let this go. Your husband has OCD or some other mental health issues going on, but you're more focused on the actual dishes than helping out your spouse. You are the idiot for that. In addition, you threw away a golden opportunity to say, since this is so important to you and you redo my work anyway, let's make it your exclusive job to put away the dishes. And in exchange, it'll be my job to insert the thing you love doing. He burst into tears, couldn't even talk to me like an adult, so I said he was being pathetic. Honestly, that's really close to a separation type of deal breaker to me. How in the heck can someone look at their beloved in obvious distress and see it as an opportunity to win a fight and denigrate them? What an idiot she is. I have a husband diagnosed and medicated for OCD. I can confirm that this is what we do. I don't make the bed right or do his laundry right, so guess what? He does those chores. We had a rough time finding the balance when we first moved in together, but now we have a split of things that are his and that are mine to take care of. Also, he did the same thing of fixing things when it wasn't right. He was also so ashamed of it too, but he literally couldn't stand things to be wrong in his mind. It would drive him insane. Everyone's the idiot here. Although I understand all of this, it's not her responsibility to get him checked. It's his. If he has such a big issue with how things are supposed to be, he should have talked about it, seen a doc about it, and tried to solve things like an adult. All this before marriage. It's their kitchen, their things, and if she's the one who's cooking, oh God, in her place, I'd get mad. I get her frustration, and I get he has a condition, but they desperately need to talk and seek counseling.